Good evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here with my 6-player Dream Team Pathfinder Adventures playthrough. We are on the third scenario of the prologue, Black Fang's Dungeon. You have to say it in that voice. This is a difficult scenario. I do believe it is the most difficult scenario of the prologue, although I hope you've seen that, you know, these scenarios, these prologue scenarios, when you're playing with a 6-player party all by yourself, they're not exactly a cinch. I came down to the wire in both, really. So let's do our preview here. The villain is Black Fang, which is, I think, a pretty well-designed villain. He's a combat 12 monster. Before you fight him, you have to make a pretty tough check or take 1d4 minus 1 damage. So with your characters, it's important to either have a way to make a fortitude check or keep an armor on hand, because maybe that d4 rolls a 1, and then 1 minus 1 is 0 and nothing happens, or maybe the d4 rolls a 4 and you lose 3 cards and it is devastating. The henchmen are pretty tough. These skeletons have a combat 8, but if you're using a slashing or piercing weapon, then it's combat 11, which is like as hard as the last scenario's villain was. But it's a henchman, so it's all over the place. So they're pretty tough. Luckily, they died to caltrops, so Linny will hopefully get to use hers finally. This scenario is tough, though, not because of the monster or the villain or the henchman, but because of the locations. There's some seriously bitchy locations here, so let's take a look at them. Try not to Mash 2. Whenever you encounter a blessing, of which there are 3, you take 2 points of damage that can't be reduced. So, ouch. The best player for this location is Sela because, of course, her scouting might get rid of a blessing and put it on the bottom of the deck. That's ideal. We'll put a Miri here, as always, to give Sela a weapon if necessary. Then we have one of my least favorite locations in the entire game, the Warrens. I hate this place so much. When you encounter a monster, a random monster is placed on top of another random open location deck. So basically, every time you encounter a monster here, you lose a turn. Now, let's do some math. There's 2 monsters in here, and then, of course, either a henchman or a villain. So there is a 1 in 3 chance that the first monster you find is the henchman, which isn't that bad. But if the henchman is below the other 2, of which there is also a 1 in 3 chance, you're losing 3 turns. It's really, really bad. So the Warrens are a tricky thing. What do? Do you just ignore the Warrens and temp close it? Well, if the villain's in there, you lose the game. You know, it's a difficult spot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send Ezran over there with an augury and hope to flip a monster to the bottom. And then I'm probably going to start exploring with Harsk and just use his scouting ability to see what's coming up so that we don't lose turns on monsters. It's not great, but there's really just no great way of dealing with this. There's also the Mountain Peak, which isn't like anything bad. At the start of your turn, succeeded a Wisdom or Survival check or bury a card. I mean, that's annoying, sure. Linny can make that relatively well. Amiri can, of course, evade that by just moving somewhere else. The real issue with this is it's 3 monsters and 3 barriers. It's a pretty tough place to get through. But you do get a reward for closing it. At the end of your turn, you may examine the top card of an open location deck, so you get free scouting. And Amiri is sort of the queen of the Mountain Peak because she can use her movement ability both to avoid its start of turn effect and to keep on reusing its end of turn effect. Realistically, you're not going to get more than, like, unless you're really lucky, 2 scoutings out of it, but still, that's 2 free scoutings, so that is where Amiri will be going. We also have a nice place here, the Temple. This is Linny's favorite place. No monsters, no barriers, it closes automatically, and there's tons of blessings. She is the queen of picking up blessings, so she should be able to tear through this in a couple of turns. And then the Thessalonian Dungeon is a nice place for Ezran. Whenever you play an arcane spell, you can immediately draw a card. So he loves this place. Now, where do Harsk and Mariziel go? Well, Mariziel's good at the closing check for the Warrens, but I don't just want to send somebody into the Warrens. So Harsk will probably go to the deeper dungeons, tons of monsters here, and a Constitution or Fortitude 8 check, which he loves. And that leaves Mariziel with either going to the Desecrated Vault or the Throne Room. She's not particularly good at closing either location, but she does have that Crown of Charisma, so she might at least have a chance at closing the Throne Room nicely. So that's how we're going to do it. Okay, it's time to start the... Oh man, I really hope the turn order was the same as what I set in the previous scenario so that Amiri goes before Sela. Add him up, yeah. Alright, so he only has 1 weapon. Sela has a weapon, so no need to do anything. Well, let's go to the Mountain Peak. And you want to try to get through this place, quick, because the sooner you get it closed, the sooner you can start to scout. Hey, that's nice. Top card is the Henchman, pretty ideal. Wow. Harsk, you feeling blessed there, buddy? Anybody have a Blessing of Aurora? I know there's one in the party. Strength. Do I want to use Strength on this? Or do I want to just have Amiri do a Rage? I don't want to get rid of the leather armor because of the villain. I mean, the villain might cause me serious damage. So you kind of want to look at the villain in each scenario and decide whether your armor characters should hang on to their armors throughout the course of the scenario. Crowbar is really not that valuable. I'll just bury the crowbar. I do want to draw into my other ally and into my blessings for extra explorations. And I have a reroll available here. This should be fine. Okay, yes, the ancient skeleton bites it up the butthole. And we need to play a blessing on this in order to have a 35 out of 36 chance of success. Who's going to play the blessing? Let's go for Marizial on this. No snake eyes, please. Thank you very much, game. And that was nice. That's a good location for the top card to be the henchman. I mean, every location is good, but this especially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scout the Warrens because this will tell me if somebody can at least explore here once. And the answer is no. So that is a good indication that going there and doing augury is going to be a good move because at least one monster is going to get put on the bottom of the deck. All right, tragically, Sela does not get rid of a blessing here, but she will fight the bugbear. Let's use our ability. I'm holding on to Cure in my hand, so I don't mind if things get discarded. Do I dare roll this? It's not passing the 2 check. If everything rolled a 2, I would fail. Let's go ahead and shoot a blessing. It does suck to shoot the blessings, because I mean, maybe I could have explored with them, but then again, I did just close a location on the first turn of the game, so I feel like time is on my side. Well, this is a little risky. I could definitely get bitten pretty hard here, and I do. So I have to discard 2 cards. However, it's not the end of the world. What I'll do is I'll hang on to my Cure, and I'll pick up the blessing, hopefully. I mean, with a little bit of luck. Hello? Yep. Yep. Okay. Apparently, if you look at the deck after selecting that power, wacky stuff happens. All right, so I have a pretty good shot at getting this. I'd have to roll 1-1 to fail, so I pick up the blessing. I don't want to use the blessing. Actually, do I? Maybe I do. That's Cure, and let's just think for a second. So basically, right now, if I play the Blessing of Torag to explore and I find a blessing, it's fantastic because I'm going to have an empty hand and I won't be punished for having encountered a blessing. But if I find the villain, that's really bad. Of course, the odds of finding the villain are not that high, so we'll just explore. All right, get away with murder there. So I get to pick up a blessing. Now, do I explore again is the question. I have a 1 in 7 odds of finding the henchman/villain. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just explore again. And we got the other blessing. Okay, so the blessings are all in a bunch. That's good. Do I want to explore again is the question. I think this time it'd be wrong to explore again because now there's just 2 monsters, 2 barriers, a spell, and then the henchman or villain. I don't really want to encounter any of those things empty-handed, so we're just going to pause here. And I do find a weapon, which is good. Okay. So, Ezrin, let's not waste any time. I'm going to actually go over to the Warrens, cast Augury. It's actually really good that I got Augury and the Spyglass. I can play it super safe here. So we're going to go ahead and name monster. Maybe I'll find the henchman. Ah, crap. Neither of the 2 cards behind were monsters. So there's still a henchman and 1 monster here, which means 50-50 shot. I lose 1 turn when if the henchman is on top of the monster. If the monster is on top of the henchman, I'm going to lose 2 turns. But I'm going to Spyglass here so I can see if I can explore safely. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, no, wait. I want to do this. I want to use my Spanish spellbook. Okay, well, crap. But that's fine. So we'll play the Spyglass, see what we got here. All right, that's interesting. So the henchman's there. I think it would be a mistake to do this because Ezrin's not that good at acrobatics. I should have Marizial come over and take that henchman out, because she's actually good at acrobatics. So even though I'm not exploring here, I think that's fine, because I essentially got like value from playing Augury. Now the problem is, do I want to go over there now? If I go over there now, the disadvantage is that I don't get to use sneak attack because Ezrin is sitting there. However, if I don't go there now and somebody finds the villain, then that place might get shuffled. So I'm actually going to go ahead and go over here, even though I can't use sneak attack. I do have the Sage's Journal, so I mean it could be worse. So let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, we're gonna lose a turn because a monster is gonna go on top of somewhere. Goes on top of the temple. Uh-oh. All right, let's do this, and I'm gonna recharge Blessing of Gorham because the current card is, you'll note, a Blessing of Gorham. So this is recharged, not discarded, and it gives me 2 extra dice. So I'm in pretty good shape. I'm not going to take any chances. We're going to go ahead and just recharge a blessing to make sure I kill this skeleton. Okay, little overkill. Kind of wish I had the blessing, but that's fine. Oh my god, I forgot the scenario rules! Oh shit. The rules of the scenario are that if anyone encounters an ancient skeleton henchman, then each character at the location has to summon and fight an ancient skeleton henchman, which of course means I really should not have gone here right now because we lost 2 turns with Ezran having to fight one of these things, as well as our rogue. That was a terrible play. Clearly the risk of the risk of having to fight finding the villain and having the Warrens get shuffled was not worth the guarantee of losing 2 turns from Ezran facing an ancient skeleton and Mariziel facing one. That was a stupid play. Well, anyway, could be worse. So Lenny, I guess, is going to use Augury. Now that I know that there's a monster on top here, I'll just put that on the bottom. And I'm going to now go through the temple. And honestly, it's not the end of the world. We've closed, what, 2 locations? And it's still the first turn, essentially. It's every character's first turn through the level. I mean, it's not the end of the world that I lost an extra turn for that, but yeah, it's just a bad play is the thing. Okay, I'll pick up a short bow. I don't really need the short bow, but whatever. Since I have 2 allies, I'm going to go ahead and recharge 1 to explore again. Blast stone. Good old blast stone. Now that I only have 1 animal, I'm going to go ahead and play a blessing to explore because I want the animal in hand to help me pick up blessings. Quarterstaff. Wow, we're really just picking up a whole bunch of trash here. Okay, I don't need short bow and blast stone. And you know what, fuck it, I don't need the quarterstaff. There's only 1 monster in here, the henchman. I mean, I just don't need a friggin' quarterstaff. I'm good. Alright, Arsk. So, is there a monster on top? There is. Well, fight him. Hellhound. Shit. That's so bad. I should have fired an extra shot. I mean, obviously, I'm just going to play the blessing because I'm going to take a fire damage at the end of this combat, so I might as well play it. That's kind of annoying. If I had shot that blessing as an arrow, then I could have had an empty hand after recharging my dagger. Then again, how was I supposed to know, right? So we'll draw 1d4 random items. I really don't care about that. I'm not going to bring anyone over to take it. 1d4 random items is just not very good. And we'll go here with Amiri and work on the Desecrated Vault. It's got a lot of monsters in it. Hopefully I don't actually find a henchman and have to close this because she's not that good at doing that. Alright, we get lucky and pick up this Blessing of Era still. I don't think I'm going to need any dexterity checks as Amiri, so we'll just play the Troubadour to explore. Giant Gecko is pretty much the easiest monster in the whole game. Do I fire a shot? Yeah, I don't need a longbow, a dagger, and a sling, so we'll fire a shot just to secure this. I don't want to particularly discard my long spear. That would be a bit annoying. Let's keep exploring. Definitely don't need to do anything to help me pick up the Matic, because I don't even care. In fact, I'm actually going to just bury or voluntarily discard it, because I just don't want to deal with it. We're going to go back to the mountain peak, give us some free scouting. Where do I want to scout? I'm kind of curious, let's see. I'm kind of curious what's in this throne room. Holy water. Interesting. So it's Wisdom or Divine. It is magic, so if Ezran picks it up, he'll get an extra turn out of it. I'm not sure that's actually worth doing. Let's get rid of the Matic, because it's stupid, and get a Blessing, which is not stupid. Okay, so Sela gets to scout here. Arcanabra, so the only one of 6 cards that is friendly she found, which is good. Which is really, really good, because that's that any, like, literally any other card here, it would have just been scouting, but that gave me an extra exploration. And there's the Ancient Skeleton. Perfect. Alright, so I'm going to keep doing my hero power pretty aggressively. Yep. And you know what? Lessons learned. I'm not going to take any chances. We are going to shoot an arrow and make sure that we hit that check of 8. Ever since I failed to kill that bandit in the first scenario, I've been scarred. Alright, do I do a skill check? I'm just gonna banish a Blessing of the Gods. The worst thing I could get is Blessing of the Gods. So, since that's pretty good, I'm just gonna do it. And I can banish a Blessing to draw a new Blessing. I'm pretty happy to have a Blessing of Aurori, so I will not be doing that. Okay, Ezran. Well, I could go try to pick up the Holy Water with a Sage. I'd be rolling a d8 and a d6 to hit an 8. It's a bit loose, And on top of that, I could just discard the Sage for an extra exploration. So why don't we just go where we're comfortable, which is the Thessalonian dungeon. Okay, that's bad. So I would have to take between 0 and 3 range damage. And on top of that, I don't actually have a way of killing him. Short sword requires proficiency. This is the time to use invisibility to evade. So a couple things are going to happen here. First of all, I'm going to try to recharge invisibility. Of course, had invisibility been a combat spell, I could have killed that thing, but then I still would have taken damage. This way, there's a 50% chance that that guy ends up below the henchman or villain in the location, and I never have to fight him at all. Alright, so we have a Sage there, which I can't get yet, but I might be able to pick it up. Ambush. Thank you, Thieves' Tools. That was nice. Ambush is one of the friendlier barriers, though, because even if you fail it, it finds a monster for you to fight, and you're at a penalty when you fight it. So it's not the end of the world. Either way, you get to explore again. But what I could do now is a little trick. I could actually play Strength on myself, even though I don't need it. That would let me draw a card with the Thessalonian dungeon, which I know is a Sage, which would let me explore again. I mean, I don't think I want to do that, because I probably want to keep the Sage just to close the location. So I'm going to go ahead and discard Short Sword since it's worthless, and we're just going to do that. How did I even get a Short Sword? Anyway, she's got the Crown of Charisma, so definitely wants to go to the throne room, excuse me, and close this place out. Holy Water, yep. No, need it. Marizil's kind of stuck. Her whole hand is filled with crap. Hopefully she finds a monster soon and can spend some of these cards. Mirror Image, wow. There are 4 blessings in the temple. I have found 0 of them. It's a little annoying, but there's now 4 out of 7 cards here are blessings. Nah, Jesus. Okay. She has Caltrops. She could evade him. I need to think very carefully about whether I want to do that, because the other option is try to kill him right now. I'm not sure I can actually trap him, though. Yep. The desecrated vault is open, so I'm actually better off leaving him where he is, because the rest of the place, the temple is filled with blessings, right? So it should be pretty easy to get up to him. So I'm going to use Caltrops here to evade him, and that means he stays where he is. So now I know where Black Fang is. It always sucks when he's in the temple. I'm not going to press my luck exploring. We're just going to move on. Okay, what is in here? Oh, a battered chest. Right, so we'll just do that. Okay, so this is actually a really good shape. I said this was the hardest scenario of the prologue, but I'm actually in, like, the best shape of any of the scenarios I'm in, because I know where the villain is, and what I can do now is I can just basically try to close as many locations as I can, and when I get down to, like, 10 turns or so, then I can go and pound the temple and finish off the villain. Okay, there's only actually 4 other locations besides the temple, so we're in pretty good shape. Let's go to the vault. I'm not the greatest at closing this with Amiri, but there's really nothing Amiri is good at closing anymore. Bunyip. One nice thing, though, is that the current blessing is the Wisdom blessing. So if I do, in fact, encounter the henchman and have to close this location, each blessing of the gods adds double the dice. So I buried the armor because I know I'm not facing off Black Fang, because I know that he's in the temple. And I will... Actually, I'm going to go ahead and recharge or discard that blessing to explore so I can keep the one that I need to close the location. Oh, look at that smart play. Alright, so Harsk, he's not fighting the villain either, so he can recharge his armor. Ezran's got strength. Let's do this. So I can draw a card. He's kind of a little low on cards, actually. Got to be a little careful about that. Okay, so I need to roll a 7 on these dice, and I can reroll if I fail. Yep, we're good. So let's do this. Okay, this is really nice. Oh, yeah, roll a d6 on a 1, it's undefeated. Please don't be a 1. That's just the worst thing. I hate this desecrated vault. Obviously, it dovetails nicely with the scenario, which has a feature of, there's the henchmen are undead. All right, somebody else should play a blessing here. It'd be leaving a bit much to chance otherwise. So I'm going to play another Blessing of the Gods. 5d6 should be good to hit a 7. Turns out I didn't need it, but I'm fine having taken that risk. Okay. Each character may recharge an item from her discard pile. Alright, sure. Matic. Well, alright, it's a hit point. I'll recharge it. And let's go to the mountain peak. So the question is, what's valuable for me to scout? Well, I can look at the temple, and then like that way I'll know if the next card of the temple is the villain or not. The problem with that is, I mean, Linny, does she really want to stay at the temple? She's got combat cards. She's better off going somewhere else, I think. Yeah, well, I'll still do it. Maybe it is the villain. No, it's a Blessing of Eris still. Okay. Alright, so I know that the top is a Blessing of Eris still, I guess. I don't know how much that'll help me. But there it is. Alright, so what can you do? We got Constitution, Fortitude, Charisma, Diplomacy. Well, she's dumb, so definitely not that. That's a D10. But then it cock-blocks Mariziel, so I guess the only place she can really make progress is here. And she can add a D6 to her check. What is this? Stride? Ah, man, it would have been nice to have Ezran go here, but that's fine. We'll just do this. And let's keep on trucking. Potion of Fortitude. Alright, I'm going to do something a little weird. I'm actually going to pop a card to pick this up. The reason is that this location closes with a Fortitude check, so having that is nice. In fact, I can now go balls to the walls Dickens and just keep exploring, being totally confident that I can close the location if I bump into a skeleton. So the extra D6 I got made the difference. Wait, what? Oh, okay. It actually worked. So, unfortunately, it's not a boon. So the treasure map, if you succeed it and you find a boon, you can pick it up. Unfortunately, that's not a boon, so it has to stay on top, which is sad. Does Steela have a healing card in her deck? She has a cure. Okay, good. So she should probably stop throwing cards off the top of her deck so she can cure herself. All right, Icy Longsword +1. This is a really good card. It's really, really good. The question is, can I afford to get it? All right, we're gonna try it. I'm gonna do this. And I think I'm in really good shape, so I'm gonna spend some blessings and try to pick this thing up. Wow, 1, 1, 2, 3. Well, I just lost 2 blessings for nothing, which is a little sad, but I think it was worth it. I think I should still be able to win, because we are pretty ahead here. Scout. Okay, the scout now I'm okay with because I'm holding on to my Amulet of Life. So the scout's about to get wrecked. He also just totally missed me. Let's do an acid arrow, and we'll fire an arrow because he doesn't need 2 daggers. It's fine. Do I discard a sage to explore? He's running a little bit low on cards there, my old wizard is, so I probably don't want to discard a sage. That seems a little bit foolhardy. Ooh, let's cast Augury, though, and I have a 60% chance of finding the henchman here. Crap. Well, didn't happen. At least the cards get shuffled. That's what's so good about Augury. Even if you miss, it's still good, because that means the cards got shuffled, so now there's a chance you got the henchman closer to the top than he was before. Let's play Charm Person, get an ally, a guide, very good. We'll explore with the guide, because the sage can, of course, be used to help me close the location. Don't really want expanded spellbook anymore. Let's kill the skeleton here. I don't really need this potion of glibness. Mariziel is at the location that needs charisma, so we'll just make sure I kill this thing, knowing how my dice have been falling. Alright, so Ezran is really, really low on cards in his deck. Might not be bad for somebody to come over and cure him at some point, so I do need to be sort of careful. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and recharge my Amulet of Mighty Fists because it doesn't do anything since I have a crossbow now. In fact, the crossbows don't do anything because I have the other crossbow, so we can just go ahead and discard this thing. And I should be safe with this. Still can't explore again, unfortunately, so I'm just stopped at 1 exploration. Alright, so I can pick up that Blessing of Eris still, but I think it's more valuable for me to go over here and cure my wizard so that he can actually play some of his cards. Plus, I saw that there was a cure in this deck off of that Augury, and Linny wouldn't mind picking up another cure. Obviously, I've kind of committed not to have 2 cures in our deck. I doubt I would keep it, but it's a good thing to find, and she's much more likely to pick it up than Ezran is. Mending. Not the spell I was hoping for. It's pretty much a total junk spell. Alright, well, let's keep on trucking. Wait a minute, do I want to? There's a 33% chance that I find the henchman. Intelligence or Arcane 7. Sela perhaps foolishly used her Blessing of Aurori. So, I don't really want to keep exploring here. I'm going to get rid of Mending because it's just stupid. And I'm sure I have some good use of Mending somewhere, but I just don't even want to bother. Plague Zombie. Alright, this is perfect. So we'll encounter the Plague Zombie, recharge the dagger. Whether I succeed or fail, I don't really care too much. Okay, I would have rather succeeded, to be honest. But as it is, the Plague Zombie gets shuffled back in there. Oh, man, that sucks. Alright, we'll use my armor. Wow, alright, I got lucky rolling a 6. If I had not rolled that, I would have had to bury my armor in order to avoid problems. Okay, it sucks that Sela and Harsk are in the same location because essentially that wastes her scouting ability if what he finds isn't the monster. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pile in here then with the Miri and just kill this monster to give Sela's scouting some value. Alright, with a long spear I can roll again, so I'm just going to take my chances. Kill the zombie. And yep, we'll keep exploring. That's a tough one. Alright, there's no more barriers in this place, so I'm just going to bury that. I'm going to play Strength here as well for the bonus. Linny, do you want to draw a card? I think you do. Note that spells that are both Arcane and Divine are Divine, so they trigger the Thassilonian Dungeon's ability. That is how Divine casters can actually benefit from the Thassilonian Dungeon. Alright, so the Warlord's dead, which is good. And now we're going to go back to the mountain peak to scout. I really want to know what's in the Thassilonian Dungeon now because I want to know if Ezran's in trouble or if Linny can explore this place or what. Magic chainmail. Alright. That's okay, I suppose. Ezran will have a... oh my god, I forgot to use my animal. Well, it looks like I was actually going to fail no matter what, but I really should have used the animal there. I totally forgot about that. Okay, so can you find the henchman, please? God damn it. Ugh. Oh, man, that's annoying. I really would like to close this place, but what can you do? Alright, so we're going to discard a card. We're going to lose our half plate here, unfortunately. Luckily, I get to choose what card I am discarding. Okie doke. Yes, I don't want to discard my mace. I don't want to use this ability because there's a 33% chance I'm going to lose my cure. So Harsk will just play a blessing, which is kind of lame. I would have much rather shot an arrow. Wow, almost failed with that anyhow. Okay. It's getting a little dicey here for my tastes. Let's make sure that Sela cures herself before I forget. So, cure. Oh, she rolled maximum on the cure. Thank goodness. Alright, this is actually getting a little scary because perhaps... Well, I would have definitely liked not to have thrown away 2 blessings chasing that stupid icy long spear. That could have made a big difference. Alright, so Ezran, what the hell is here? Magic chainmail? Alright, well, it's magic. His constitution sucks. He has a 50% chance of picking this thing up, which he does, and since it's magic, he gets an extra exploration, and he is the person to close this place. So, hopefully find the henchman, finally. Alright, lightning touch, go. Arrow, go. That should be more than enough. And now, do I want to draw a card from the Thassilonian Dungeon? I'm not really sure I have anything I really care about drawing, do I? Augury, maybe? Yeah, Augury would be nice. It could search the he could search the temple on his next turn. But is he gonna? Oh yeah, he's gonna recharge the sage. There's Augury. So I don't want to use my expanded spellbook because I'd be overdrawing at that point. But what I'm gonna do is, oh, Jesus, I forgot about this. So they both have to fight it because they're both at the location. So if she gets swamped, it's not the end of the world. And this isn't the Warrens, so I'm not losing time or anything. Okay, so she recharges the inflict. She still has another inflict, which is good. And now let's close this place, or try to. Does someone have a Blessing of Pharasma? Yeah, I don't want to fail to close this. Even though there's only one card left in the location, I really want Ezran to be able to move on to the temple and use that augury. That's a really good thing for him to be able to do. Okay, so there is still a barrier in there, so I'm not going to get rid of Thieves' Tools. Acrobatics, there's the Thieves' Tools that I didn't get rid of. Mercil's the only one who can reasonably recharge these Thieves' Tools, although she totally failed to do that in this particular occasion. And now we can explore again. Thank you, Thieves' Tools. Aid, good spell. I would use it. However, we kind of have already used up our allotment of conditional blessing sacrifices trying to chase good boons, so we'll just hang tight. I have a feeling Mariziel's just going to sit there and she's going to end up temp closing that place. So now, kind of in an awkward spot. Basically, Linny can go and pick up that Blessing of Aristil, but to move to the temple, you have to discard a card. You can avoid this by starting at the temple on the very first turn, but she has to discard a card to move there now, and all she can really do is pick up that Blessing, and that's it. Like, she can't realistically explore again, because if she does, she might encounter Black Fang and get hosed. She really can't make that check. Alright, well, I guess we're just going to do that and clear out one of the cards that's here. So I have to discard one of my crows, unfortunately. Do this. So now the question is, do I dare explore? I think I have to. There's actually a chance she'll be able to kill Black Fang if she finds him. And if she doesn't find him, then she's basically plowing cards out of the way. Alright, do I explore? Well, I'm kind of committed to this course of action, aren't I now? Alright, Blessing of Calistria. So there's all the blessings in a clump at the bottom of the damn deck. Do I keep exploring? Well, now it's a different situation. Before it was worth the risk because there were so many cards. I might actually have lost the game on time if I didn't. Now there's only 4 cards left. So I'm not going to take that chance. Okay, Harsk. Does he want to be the one to do this? He actually doesn't have a weapon to kill a henchman with, which is really annoying. How is he going to kill the henchman if that's what he finds? He doesn't have caltrops. Oh, Linny should have moved here maybe. Well, no, I think it's... I want to leave Sela... Hang on a sec. Okay, so Sela can close it on her turn, but then it'll be her last turn of the game, so it doesn't matter if she closes it by killing a henchman or temp closing it. So it kind of sucks, but I'm just going to take my chance here. Alright, it's a longsword anyhow. Don't want it. So now oh god, there it is. Alright, actually, since I picked up the longsword, I guess we'll do this. So I'm going to go in here, fight this ancient skeleton. Let's discard, and let's play a blessing. Anybody got a strength for me? No? Alright. She'll play a blessing as well, that's fine. So we'll just do this to kill it. And now, there's a... Oh god, I forgot about this thing. I always forget about the rule of the scenario, which is that if multiple characters are the same location and one of them finds an ancient skeleton, all the others have to fight an ancient skeleton as well. Anyway, so normally you cannot close a location for someone else, but the way that these potions are worded is that you choose a character at your location to succeed at a check. So I'm going to do this. I don't want to... Harsk is good at Fortitude. It's a D12 plus 2, but this check is pretty high. It's an 8. I mean, that's a really high check, so I'm just going to go ahead and guarantee this and get that thing closed. So Harsk will get an actual real turn, and this gives Sela a real turn as well. Okay, so Amiri, I think I'm fine with Mariziel just sitting here to close the throne room. I think we might as well at this point just go over here to the temple. She's got lots of extra cards, lots of extra weapons. She has the armor to block his damage. She can definitely kill him if she finds him. So she actually wants to find him. Hey, all right, good thing Linny didn't explore anymore. So this is actually a really good situation because I can guarantee close this throne room with my Crown of Charisma. And then for Black Fang, Amiri can... first of all, she might succeed at this Constitution check, but even if she doesn't, it doesn't matter because she has the leather armor to block it. Even if he rolls max damage, we're not in any bad shape. In fact, I don't even have to bury the armor. I can just discard it for damage. And now, Linny might lose some cards. It's not the end of the world, though. She actually succeeded. Good job, girl. Way to be fortitudinous. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and discard. The actual icing on the cake here is that we have Blessing of Gorum as the current blessing. So each blessing of the gods adds 2 dice, but even if it weren't for that, this would still have been an absolute slaughter. Oh yeah, don't forget the Berserker Rage. So yeah, I think even if I were missing 2 d12s, and they were both 12s, I still would have succeeded at that check. All right, folks, we are done with the prologue. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're excited for Chapter 1, Burnt Offerings. If, of course, you would like to finish watching now, you can please like and or subscribe, and I'd appreciate that. But if you want to stick around for bonus time, let's take our rewards. So in this scenario, you get to pick a card type, and then you get a random card of that type. Typically, I pretty much always end up taking weapons or spells, so you can metagame and be like, well, let's just have everybody take a spell, even people who don't use spells, to maximize the odds of finding a good one. But here, I actually really just don't mind getting weapons because we haven't gotten any magical weapons yet. Wow, this is amazing luck. That's like one of the best, pretty much the best ranged weapon you get in the base set, and the best ranged weapon you get for a long time. Longsword +1, ain't nothing to write home about, but it's a magic weapon, which is good to have. For spells, there are still some good spells I want to find. I still want to find Holy Light, and I'm willing to basically sacrifice a weapon dig to look for it. But Marisyl's going to get weapon as well. There's still other magic weapons to try to find, and Heavy Crossbow is good too. But Ezran and Linny will stick to spells, just taking a chance at finding Holy Light. Plus, there's a card, Speed, I wouldn't mind. I'm not sure actually if it's in the deck yet. But there's some other spells that I could use. All right, that was actually incredibly lucky. The spells, Find Traps is pretty marginal. It's fun to get 2 dice when up against a barrier, but it's just not good enough. It's just like worse than Aid, which can give you a d6 against anything. Granted, I haven't found Aid, but I just can't see myself cutting any deck slots for something that's so situational. But every single weapon was going to be usable. Now, that was the reward for the scenario. Here comes the reward for beating the prologue. That's a skill feat, which is really strong. In my party, nobody's got really any tough decisions for skill feats. Amiri, obviously strength. Sela, obviously strength. Ezran, obviously intelligence. Marisyl, obviously dexterity. Linny, obviously wisdom. And Harsk, obviously dexterity. There are some characters in the game that you have to make some tough choices with, but I think for all these 6, it's really simple. Just take your combat stat until you can't take your combat stat anymore, because combat's very important in this game. All right, for deck building, let's see. We can throw out the mace and keep the longsword +1. Throw out the Matic. Notice I'm not really picky about who holds what blessing. I usually don't like the same character to hold the same blessing more than once, but I'm not like, ooh, Aristil is ranged to combat, so let's have Marisyl hold it. Like, I really don't care. As long as it's in somebody's hand, that's all that matters. Oh my god, that is so good. Gotta make sure I don't forget that. I don't want to be using a short sword. I should really take this mace because I am not proficient. Oh yeah, I lost the quarterstaff somewhere. That's why I had the short sword. All right, what are my extra spells here? Force Missile and Find Traps. So let's just check real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4 combat spells and invisibility. Magic Chainmail, let's give that to somebody. Give it to Sela so that she can recharge it at the end of her turns. What else do you have? A guide, okay. Marisyl, Heavy Crossbow, better than a light crossbow. And, Ezran can take his favorite quarterstaff back. Thank you. Linny. Spells, we don't want that, we don't want that, so that's easy enough. Blessings, she found a lot. Blessing of Desna is the only blessing that's so bad. Why would you ever play a blessing on a check to recharge a card that I actually don't even keep them if I find them? I would rather have a Blessing of the Gods for a chance to copy a good blessing on top of the deck. And we're going to get rid of Sling. I was never that thrilled about it, so we'll keep Longbow and Heavy Crossbow. Actually, wait a minute. Somebody should be taking this Deathbane Light Crossbow. Let's give it to Marisyl. Harsk. Well, hang on a second. That doesn't make sense. Harsk is actually worse at fighting than Marisyl is, even though he has the range skill and she doesn't. So Longbow is just awful. We'll do the Deathbane Light Crossbow there, and she'll keep a Light Crossbow there. Okay, now we've taken up all the cards. Let's make sure I haven't forgotten anything. Superior Half Plate. No one else has Heavy Armor Proficiency. Find Traps. Force Missile, Mending Crossbow. Longsword, Short Sword, Mace, Sling. Okay, we're good. Thank you guys. I appreciate your time watching this video. Have a lovely night. Please like and or subscribe and stay tuned for Burnt Offerings, coming up next.